As you're welcome back, this is still Midday Live here on TV3. It's time to do sports. Let's start with the Ghana Premier League, where WAFA have been relegated from the league after 6 years in the top flights. The renowned football academy went into the final day of the season needing a win while hoping other results would go their way. But they were beaten 1-0 by Karela in Enyinase. Now, 11 Wonders were also relegated on the last day, despite winning by 2-1 at home to Adriana Stars. King Faisal's 2-1 victory against Legon Cities meant Wonders still went down. However, with Ashanti Gold set to be demoted, it is speculated that only 2 teams will be relegated, a scenario that could see only the bottom 2, Elmina Sharks and WAFA, relegated, while the Wonders stay up. Well, now let's get to Zoom and let's just do a wrap of how the Ghana Premier League went. My colleagues from Kumasi are joining me on Zoom to have a brief discussion on the Ghana Premier League. Collins Atapoku is on Zoom, as well as Bismarck Owusu-Bempah. Guys, you're welcome to Midday Live on TV3.
Well, thank you for having us.
Right, let me start with you, Ata. What did you make of the Ghana Premier League season, so far? How did it go for you?
Well, not long ago, we were not able to finish seasons we were starting inconsistent years. So I've been able to finish this season is very good and important for the development of our game. Secondly, you look at the performances and the way the season went. It is only fair that Kotoko were judge champions because in terms of consistent results, they were the club that showed the most consistent form. And it was not so surprising that they ended up winning the league title. Right from the beginning, we could see that Hearts of Oak's title defense had issues, and these issues continued to blight them. And it was crystal clear right after the first round, the Hearts of Oak were not in a position to defend their league title. But those who were mounting the challenge fell off at various points in time. Ediana fell off after losing to Kotoko at home. Bechem United fell off, and Mediama similarly also fell off after losing at home to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So you would say, yes, indeed, a lot happened, but it was just not enough in terms of consistency to match the sheer consistency and power of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Individual performances were also something to write home about, especially that of Augustine Oka, Oseko for both at Bechem United, Asante Kotoko's Frank Etuga and Bella, stashing things up. And then Ashanti Gold Tiano, giving us something to cheer about in the last 4 games with the title race decided. So yes, overall, it was a good season for our football.
Great. Let me bring Ayala into the conversation now. Now, Ayala, are you surprised to see last season's third-place team, that's WAFA, relegated this time around? It's been curious, really. They hit really good heights last season, and this season they've sunk very low.
Yes, it tells you how the story of this season has went, isn't it? To see custodians like Elimina Sharks, WAFA, and to some extent 11 Wonders relegated officially makes it quite intriguing. What it means is that the new boys in Accra Lions, the new boys in Baby and Good Stuff has been able to stay in the league, and that tells you the story about how interesting the league has been so far. So yes, if you look at the start of the season, everyone thought Hearts of Oak were going to defend their title, looking at how they performed last season. But look at where they finished on the league log. Mediama from nowhere has come to finish second. Look at some interesting results we had. WAFA losing at home to a lot of teams. Kodoko beating Adriana at Doma for the first time. So we've had a very, very interesting story to write this season. And for me, the biggest story is that none of the new boys that came in went out. And we are having household names like WAFA, Elimina Sharks, and 11 Wonders going out. Very, very interesting league.
Right, now, Ayala, let me still stay with you. Now, with Ashanti Gold set to be demoted, what is going to happen with that 1 slot that's left in the Ghana Premier League?
What we are yet to know is the decision from the Executive Council, because we can't make analysis based on litigation. If indeed Asgold is going to be demoted into the 2nd division, then what it means is that it creates a vacuum in the law as to who comes in as the 3rd team that is being relegated. And for me, I think we will have to revisit Congress for us to have a particular solution to this problem, because under normal circumstances, even the 18 Premier League was not supposed to be until Congress approved that we should play 18 Premier League. So we will have to revert back to Congress. Then ask them whether we are going to continue the 18th Premier League, and if indeed as good by then it's demoted as is in the law, as it stands now, pending the appeals committee decision, then we will see how it will go. But for me, I think the likely decision is to maintain the 18th Premier League and probably make sure clubs like Wonders don't go, because as good already from the Premier League is being demoted into the second division based on what the disciplinary committee verdict was against them in the case against Starlight.
Right. Now, a final question to you, Atta. Now, let's look at Yawano. He's been exceptional, and after equaling Ismail Ado's record, what do you make of the player generally, and what his progression could be in the Ghana Premier League and his general career, really? Hello, Atta, can you hear me?
One of the things I found quite interesting about this season, Ayala pointed it out, is how these three newly promoted teams survived, pushing down teams that we would have said are doing good enough to stay in the championship. Now, Accra Lions, our team, have all done enough together with the Bibiani Gold Stars to maintain their status. What does this tell us? That proper financing of teams is very important. 2 out of the 3 teams that have gone down suffered issues of financing, and it really dragged them down. You take a case of 11 Wonders, theirs went as far as 8 months without salary. You pick the case of WAFA, you can't say same for them. We all know the documented nature of ownership problems and financing issues for El Nino Sharks. So clearly, football clubs that have the financial means are more likely to stay in the league. And the time where teams that came from Division 1 were earmarked for relegation right after the season is also something that is off the table. So this is a good story. The 2 that have already secured qualification in Kotoku Royals and Samatex.
Yeah.